Good day, New Skin. Harry Dent here in La Jolla, California, where we put on our annual conference for our subscribers. And I am going to be in Australia for a second time for the Secure the Future conference in February of next year. Now, I was in Australia in late 2011. This is where I first met Graham Park. And we were doing the Secure the Future conference in Brisbane and Sydney, and then I did a major conference with Richard Branson in Melbourne. And my message was, look, we've come out of the crisis of 2008 and 9, which did not affect Australia that bad, but we're going to see another global crisis that will affect Australia stronger. Now again, why do I have different insights from economists? We look at different things. People drive our economies. The predictable things people do as they age, simple demographics that determine when economies boom and bust. The baby boom was the largest generation born around the world, and in different countries they've been entering the workforce, raising their kids, buying houses, borrowing money, spending. You know what the key number for spending in countries around the world is? Age 46. That told us that the Japanese economy was going to peak around 89 or 90 and go down for over a decade. That occurred. They've been in a coma economy ever since. That peak in spending told us the U.S. economy would peak around 2007, which it did. And we've been fighting with massive stimulus just to grow at 2%, and we keep flopping into recessions. Demographic trends are now negative in most developed countries. Now guess who is next? Europe. Europe is already in a deep downturn that they can't seem to come out of, and countries like England, Germany, Austria, Switzerland go off this demographic cliff next, with a larger generation peaking in spending, slowing, and being followed by a smaller generation. Then the rest of Europe follows. Then Southeast Asia, even South Korea. So governments are thinking if we can just stimulate enough that we'll get over this financial crisis, this debt crisis. This is the greatest debt bubble in history around the world, the greatest real estate bubble around the world, and all of these countries are going to slow down. And guess what? Australia has the best demographics of all demographics in the developed world. In other words, Australia's trends due to high immigration from Asia move more sideways in the next decade when most countries move down. So that's good news, but Australia is not going to sail through this downturn because, number one, you now have the most expensive real estate in the developed world outside of London. The United States has already seen a real estate crash, Spain and many other countries. China has the greatest bubble in the world, and I tell you, I've got a whole story that I'm going to give at this conference on China that will shock people. China's going to have the hardest landing when it finally falls, and that's going to affect Australia. 20% of your exports go to China alone. But the most important thing, for Australia, you are a major resource exporter. That's been a large part of your boom. We have a commodity cycle we study that peaks every 30 years like a clock, and I mean like a clock. This cycle points down from 2008 to 2023. So I think Australia and other countries like Canada, they're heavy resource exporters, are going to feel this next downturn worse. But here's the summary. For your business, for multi-level marketing, do you realize that in the 2008-2009 recession that the number of distributors around the world actually went up? How many industries can claim that? You guys do well. When the economy gets questionable and jobs get less secure and the future looks less bright, people want to augment their income. They want to start their own business. So that's the good news on that part. The better news is, when we look at demographics, we can look cradle to grave, child care to nursing homes, and tell you when people spend in different areas. The baby boom has peaked in many countries around the world and many to come. As I say in this new book, The Demographic Cliff, coming out in late January, this is just going to keep happening. But the baby boomers, largest generation in history, are going to continue to age, and guess where they're going to be spending their money? Health and wellness, the best sector. Now, better than that, you know, everybody in your industry knows weight loss is the big thing right now. We can predict that. People weigh the most at age 55 to 60, kind of a plateau, and then they start dropping off. So baby boomers have been moving into this. They're going to continue to move into this. Their peak spending and weight loss will come over the next decade. But better than that, vitamins, anti-aging, all the things you focus on, those grow into the 60s and 70s for another couple decades. So my message is going to be, look, especially in your industry, this is the time for people to start their own business, or at least to part-time do something that Nu Skin can help them. You guys have support, you have low-cost startup that you can't get at a franchise or starting your own business, and you're positioned in the best demographic sectors as baby boomers continue to age. This aging will slow most economies in the next decade, and some for longer, but it will not slow your segments. Your segments will only grow. So I hope some of you can come out to this Secure the Future conference. I tell you, I mean, if you do, I'm going to change the way you look at economics, and you will understand the economy better than any economist in the world, because I'm going to be speaking for at least 4 hours at different times in this conference. There's going to be a lot of other speakers. So I would love to see some of you out there, and I look forward to seeing Graham again. And again, thanks for listening, and I can't wait to get back to Australia.